Hello and welcome to Remote Art Club. This time we are going to create a sunflower and seed head watercolour painting. So this is what it looks like. It's a really lovely colourful piece. For this you're going to need pencil and a rubber, something round like this, like a lid to draw around, watercolour paints. You can use pencil crayons if you don't have watercolour paints, or you could use felt tips. Big round brush if you have one, or the largest round brush that you have, and a black drawing pen, a fine liner pen. If you haven't got one of these, you can use a marker pen, or you can use a black colouring pencil. Excellent. Right, you go and get yourself sorted and I'll see you back here soon. Bye. Brilliant. So hopefully now you've got everything that you need. So what we're going to do first of all is, using our round object, we're just going to draw some very faint circles that will let us get the layout of our sunflowers. So it just means we won't kind of bunch them all together, and we'll leave enough room for the petals on each sunflower. So really lightly you just want to go around, hardly any pressure at all. I'm going to overlap them ever so slightly. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You probably won't be able to see them. That's fine, that's what we want. We want them to be really light as possible. Okay. So, I'm using a large round brush. Take a dark brown and just paint a circle freehand in the middle of that first circle down there. Then I'm going to go to my light brown. I'm working just straight off the palette of colour. Back to my dark brown. I'm going to have a dark brown middle up there. You could change the size of them slightly. So some are a little bit bigger than others, just so your sunflowers look a little different. I'm actually going to add some black to this one to make that a really lovely dark middle to our sunflower. And then back to my light brown. That has a little bit of dark brown mixed in it. There we go. Okay. So my free sunflower middle, so I'm just going to make that one a little bit bigger. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to clean my brush. Right, so while we wait for those to dry, we now want to rub out our pencil lines, because you don't want those on there at all. Don't brush away the rubbings just yet, leave them on the page, because you don't want to brush them off and smudge your brown paint at this stage. So I'm going to go around, rub each one out. Okay. Then I'm going to get a clean dry brush. I'm going to brush these rubbings right away, but away in the other direction, away from each painted circle, because you don't want to catch it and smudge it across your page. Make sure those rubbings are completely off your page. It's like sweeping really, it just stops you from accidentally putting your hand through your wet paint and swiping it across your page. But do just get those away completely. Okay, they're the middle of my sunflowers. Now, I just did these from imagination, but if you want to use a reference photo, absolutely fine. Each one's slightly different because obviously we get loads of different varieties of sunflowers, so I have made each one different. And I'm just really making use of this big round brush. So I'm just going to put that into my yellow paint, it's a nice thick paint. So I'm working directly off the tablet of colour for this one because I want my yellow to be really thick and bold. And I'm going to put my first petal shape in, and I'm very much just using the shape of the brush. So I rest the brush on my page and just curve it round. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to turn my page as I do this. So rest my brush and just curve that round. Bring it right to the middle. Rest and curve round. So I'm getting a nice point on that petal because I'm resting the tip of my brush on that page. So that's the shape of the tip of my brush that I'm getting on my page. So can you see I'm just painting each side of the petal first, and then I'm just filling in the middle with a little brush stroke. Okay, so that's my first sunflower. I'm going to move on to this one here. It's a little bit more orange in colour, so I will use my palette here. Yellow, a little bit of red, that looks orange but it's cadmium red. And this time I'm just going to use a single brush stroke to create a petal. So the brush is rested on my page and then dragged down towards the middle of that sunflower. So I'm very much just using the shape of my paintbrush. Back to my orange. Again, I'm just moving my paper around because it just makes it a little bit easier, a little less awkward. Fill up that gap in the middle. And then I want to put a little dash in between each petal to make it look like there's some petals behind those ones. Just move that around and then just fill up any little white gaps that you don't want. Lovely. So that's my orange one. I've got another orange one here. I might make that a little yellower in colour. So add some more yellow to my orange. Again, I'm probably going to do similar petal shapes to that one, but I might flick these ones round actually. There's a slight bend in my brush stroke. Bit of overlapping here, that's fine. yellow sunflower. Again, just 2 brush strokes, fill in the middle. 2 brush strokes, fill in the middle. 2 brush strokes, fill in the middle. I'm just going to put a little brush stroke in between each petal shape. There. And then this one here, I'm going to add some yellow ochre to that orangey colour that I had in my palette. And again, these are just going to be long brush strokes with the paintbrush all the way round. I'm going to go round a couple of times. Like that. Okay, just check you've got no gaps and you're happy with that. I'll give you time to get to that stage and I'll see you again in a minute. Okay, so hopefully now you've got that drawn out, they're dry. So we're going to go in with our seed heads. So the ones I've chosen to use are ones that I've got at home so that I can draw from them. I've got some dried poppy seed heads here. And I've got some dried corn. Okay. So let's start with our corn. And actually again we're going to use the shape of our brush because we can create the ears of corn by printing with our brush. So I'm going to just use my ochre as is, with some water and off my tablet. I'm going to twist my brush into that wet tablet of paint so that all the bristles in the brush come together and I've got a nice even coverage of paint. And I'm going to print with my brush, so I'm just going to press the tip of my brush down onto my page. And that's going to create almost perfect little ear of corn shape. And then I want to come down the page on each side, alternating. So I'll show you what I mean. So again, I'm going to roll my brush, bringing all those bristles together. I've got a little pool of kind of paint, thick paint on there. That's what you want. Your paint needs to be thick but with enough water to work for this. So I'm going to print my brush to that side, and print my brush to that side, print my brush that side. They're almost in like a little kind of V shape. I'm just pressing my brush down and just drag it a tiny little bit. Okay. Right, so I've got another one in here, haven't I? So one here. If you put more water on it, you get a bigger area covered. So there's a little less definition, but can you see those ones have joined together? So that was a little bit more water on it. So I've got another one here. Just printing. My brush is doing the work for me. So I'm going to cover my brush again. I've got one here. And then I'll do this one nice and slowly so you can see. So press the tip of your brush down, lift, press down, lift. If you do a slight little drag with your brush, you'll just join those two paint strokes together. I'm just going at a slight angle each time. Okay. So they're my little piece of corn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, the poppy seed heads. I'm going to mix the colour for this. I'm going to take a little bit of ochre. And I'm going to add a little bit dark brown. I'm going to add a little bit of black until I get a nice warm grey. So that's my ochre. A little bit of my darkest brown, so my raw umber, dark brown. A little bit of black. There we go. I've got grey, a warm grey colour. And for the poppy seed heads, can you see they've almost got like a little crown shape on them, on the top. And they're quite wonky, they're not perfect circles. So I want one here. And I want one there, I'm just doing the circles to begin with. But remember, it doesn't matter if they're wonky because they're not perfect circles. And then I want to do the little crown shape, and again you can just print with the shape of your brush. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little brush strokes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just coming off these circles, they'll look like they've got little kind of, well, hopefully they've got little crowns on top of there. Brilliant. Right, now would be a good chance to pause, get to this stage, have a little practice of any of these techniques if you're not sure, and I'll see you back here. Make sure you have your black pen ready. Excellent, so now that should be nice and dry. We're going to go in with our black pen. If you haven't got a black pen, you could use black pencil, you could use biro, it doesn't matter. I'm just using a little fine liner pen, and I want to start to draw in my detail. Now I'm not going to worry about my lines matching the paint strokes exactly. So here on this poppy seed head here, I've got the colour and then I've got the outline, and they don't quite meet up. I quite like that, that's part of the design. So don't worry about matching everything up exactly. Okay, I'm probably going to start from the top down. So I'm going to start with my corn, and I'm just going to outline some of the little brushstroke shapes that I've done there. Again, you might find it easier to turn and move your page. Right, on some of them they've got this little bit of kind of end of growth here off the little ear, so I'm going to pop that in on some of the ends of those ears, just right on the end. Okay. Right, my poppy seed heads. Circle, wiggly line, and then we've got these little kind of holes in them that look like almost like little archways. So 1, 2, 3 little archways like that. And then some little lines down like that. I'm going to put some dots on my poppy seed heads, and I'm just going to very loosely shade those little archway bits in, not completely, just a little squiggle. I might put a few more little dots on there. So I'll show you that again. So round the edges of the poppy seed head, a few lines in the middle, they're quite structured. They've got these little kind of hard ridges that run down them. 1, 2, 3 little archways. Loosely shade those in. And I'm just going to do a slight wiggle around the little crown at the top and add a few dots on, so you've got a few little marks on those seed heads. Okay, got another piece of corn here, so I'm just outlining just roughly copying the shape of the brush marks. Just going to add some little stems in as well. I'm not going to worry that they haven't got any colour on them. And then I might just do my final poppy seed head here. So round, little squiggle, 3 archways. Loosely shade them in. Dots on them like that. Brilliant. So now I want to do my sunflower middles, and you can do these however you like. So this one, I'll do some, just keep moving my pen round and round and round like that. This one, I'm going to do some little circles really packed in together in the middle, so there's a dark middle to the sunflower, and then just a few ones that are a little bit more spaced out around the outside. Circles in this one that just keep overlapping each other. So you can do whatever mark making you want in the middle of these. It really doesn't matter. Right, I'm going to do what I did to that one again. So it's a bit like an old kind of, I was going to say telephone wire, but like that, where it all just loops around. Circles that are more compact together in the middle. And then this one, it's going to take a while, but I'm just going to gently fill in with dots. If you're doing this with a drawing pen, a fine liner, do it really gently so you don't push the nib into the pen, because it's easily done, especially with the really fine drawing pens. So you could actually do this with some different size pens. You could use felt tips. Just if you're using felt tips, don't be careful not to get any water on them because it'll bleed. So you could, if I got myself a marker pen, you can actually do some different size dots, and you can be a little bit firmer with the marker pen. You still got to be gentle, but you can be a little bit firmer. So I'm going to stop with that one. So I've just got my 3 middles there. Okay, so now might be a good time for you to pause and catch up and get to that stage. Okay, see you again in a minute or two. Okay, so we've got our sunflower middles and our seed heads done, and now I'm just going to go round and do my petal shapes. So I'm not aiming to outline every single petal I painted in. I'm just going to do it really loosely. So I'm just going to draw in some petal shapes. Some will overlap, that's fine. Some won't have outlines, equally fine. So this is kind of a very loose style of working. Put some lines down the middle of those ones. Put some lines down those, not every single one, just some of them. Thin petal shapes, and turn my piece of paper around as I put them in. Little finishing touches here and there. And if you want, being careful though not to smudge your pen, you can then just go in with a little dark orange, and every so often just put a little maybe darker brush stroke, not in all of the petals, just some of them. Just to add a bit of variation, but be careful because your pen might not be waterproof, so it might just smudge a little. Mine has, but I quite like that. So it might be worth testing your pen with some water on a separate piece of paper. And there you have it. That is your sunflowers with seed heads. Give it a go. Let us know how you get on. Keep sharing your work with us on Instagram and Facebook, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye.